I guess we'll call the meeting to order. A roll call
William Metzinger,
here.
Martin Vitek,
Here.
Tom Reamer,
Here.
James Schultz,
Here.
Thomas Trudeau.
Here. Approval of agenda.
We approve the agenda.
Second. Motion by Marty, second by Tom Trudeau. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Approval of the June 17th, 2024 Highway Committee meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion, accept the minutes.
Motion by Tom Reamer,
Second.
second by Tom Trudeau. Any discussion or changes? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Public comments. Is there anybody online, Marcy?
We have Dan, Gary, and Rich Huber. Okay.
Now we're going to Highbridge Facilities and Equipment Inspection.
So yeah, just we'll take a walk around the shop here, just for your information only, we're not to make decisions during this time. We are going to try to film it with the phone as we go, so we have a record of that. Marcy will try that, so yeah. So if you want to put that one on you. This is our offices. Marcy's office first and my office behind. Yeah. And then your office, this is my office back here, that's the storage room and furnace room behind here. Restroom. So this is the crew, this is our break room and then our meeting morning where we meet with them to give orders. And things, yeah, just we do some of our training. It's a pretty tight room to do a lot of training. If sometimes we move the TV or the training into the back shop just for more space. But kind of talk about it as we come back around, but we have a request, outstanding request for a little addition out that way for a conference room and training room facility for the crew. So
Weren't they at one time talking about emergency management?
yeah, so they would be able to, if we were to do this addition at some point, they would be able to use it as a secondary emergency operations center. Sheriff's Department's interested in using it as training space also. Could be multi-purpose. I don't know. Human Services has used our facilities in the past, mainly during COVID for shots and that sort of thing. But, so they would be having interest, but.
Or it could be used for other public purposes.
It could be used by the towns, any county affairs that need to be taken care of. Yeah,
There really isn't any kind of a meeting place in the center of the county.
yeah. A lot of times the DOT holds the meetings in the little room at the library in Mellon, but
That probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Where you're talking about right out here?
yeah, just close in that corner. We'll loop back and I'll show you what the thoughts are for that at some point. We got the restroom and then shop.
It's customary to tip the doormat, you know.
Actually, last year's model, it came late in the winter. Before we got it back. It's actually the plow frame has not come through yet, so. But otherwise, yeah, ready to go. So, yeah.
This didn't even get used, like, it did not plow through this one, the plow frame was on back order.
You got a approximate dollar figure what we're looking at there?
350-ish, 370.
Just curious.
I don't know if you guys have met Bob Piff is our shop superintendent. He does all of our parts and ordering and keeping the shop going. And shop end of it. Yeah, we have a pretty nice shop. He left a whole log truck, big truck right up off the ground so you can get underneath it to work underneath it.
Did you ever replace that person that? Have you hired someone to?
Yeah, we'll touch base with that, but yeah, we do have somebody on deck to start.
You got a time frame as far as when these buildings were put up? I don't get done with pretty much. I remember the old one.
I think this one was around 95.
Yeah.
This
94.
portion with the
Oh.
office in this part, and then from here that way was 2018.
Yeah, looking fairly reasonably good.
Yeah. Too bad. Yeah. So through here, this is Bob's office, and there's a park field back behind.
This must be map one of the four truck here, eh?
That one would go into 4 category, yes. Yep. Yeah. That's an attenuator, so it goes in the lane behind, it's hooked to a truck, the crash attenuator. If somebody was to come through the signed barrels, cones, they would crash that first, and it's designed to take the impact.
How old is this truck?
This one,
2002.
was manufactured in 6 of 02.
Is this a fair one or?
This one is in the 4 category.
We just, well, we just replaced all the sheet metal on the floorboard. It was rusted out, the foot don't go through the floor. Push the truck down. It's old enough to go. Well,
Yeah. Yep. So this always just goes up in the shop, we'll just swing around.
Great big building. Yeah.
You remember the discussion about the post office? We're still in talks with the post office. I haven't heard anything recently, but it would go just outside of the fence there between that and that grass area between there and Ryfield Road. So I think it's moving forward, but I haven't heard. We filled out a bunch of paperwork, sent to Dan a month plus ago. Working on that lease yet. So yeah, this building was new in 2018. We do have a generator for it, which will kick on and loss of power. It'll run the garage doors, a few lights, and our fuel pumps. It doesn't do the rest of the shop or the office facilities, but we can mainly the big thing is fuel. We have access to fuel, so power.
What did this cost to build roughly in 18?
I think it's over 2 million. 0.1.
Just this addition.
Yes, yes, yep. We do have that brown shed out front there, that storage shed. There's a lot of signs and some spare shop parts, bigger stuff. here's a sign truck, we use it for sign repair, drill holes and. Then use it as a boom if we need with the wind for other things at times. Yeah, we have this set up for decent, all of our traffic control stuff and the tools the guys use on a daily basis, shovels, rakes, signs, weed whackers is mostly along that wall there. Easy to get to. We have a pressure washer there. We can use it inside or a lot of times we pressure wash outside on the blacktop slab. There's a mezzanine goes up over here, just basically storage, some paper storage and a few other things. Through this door here, it's forward end of the shop, our tire. We got another lift there for cars and pickup trucks. The smaller vehicles, we can do them. We use that a lot with we do all the maintenance on the sheriff department's vehicles. We got some steel storage and more shop area. Red. That one's there for rollers, so yeah, they don't want to tread on that. Yep, wobble wheel compactor. Yep. Yeah, older than you.
This is the main facility for the county.
Yeah, so this is the main shop. We have a storage facility in Ashland and one in Glidden. They have. We don't use them a lot in the summertime. They'll have some trucks sitting in them. Everybody comes here in the summer. In the wintertime, there's 3 plow routes out of each of the other 2 buildings. We saw the one in Ashland. Yeah, we drove past it on the tour. Yeah.
In Ashland, is there everybody there full time in the winter or what?
Wintertime, there's 2 guys there full time. The third goes as needed for plowing.
So they work out of that place?
They do. From basically, you could say November 15th to April 15th. There's 2 guys full time out of Ashland and 3 guys full time out of Glidden. Then the rest of the year
They don't come up here at all.
No, I mean if needed, but then they would come on county time. But they report to them facilities.
Or store. Yeah, that's it.
I'm finally done, I got way too much.
Yeah, I hear that you put one here.
Yeah, I got sold to a double there.
I did with an old building. Yeah. Yeah. So this trailer is our flagger. We have automatic flaggers in there. It's the light we can set up on the side of the road for set of stoplights instead of have somebody standing there all day. We have stoplights that work. They have been very helpful. We've had them 2 or 3 years. Then we have a hard time getting summer help anymore. We used to get 6. We tried for 4 now. After we couldn't get 6, we bought a set of these and that takes the place of 2 people a lot of times. So helpful.
How many summer people? It's also helpful that you can see them better too.
Yeah, they work well.
How many summer people do we got now?
2.5. Well, we have 3 of them, but none of them are like here all summer. They're kind of come and gone and it's not great. Yeah. So this truck's behind you, 56. We have a tank in there. We use it mainly in the winter for liquids. We do a lot of anti-icing. We'll spray the bridges and some of the hills and corners before storms. use it in the summer too for when we need water for, say we're doing a patch, need to cool off the asphalt or washing bridges, that sort of thing, but it gets used a lot in the winter time with snow removal. So this truck is on the, not roadworthy. It has some structural issues with the frame. It's cracking. Also the cab is rusted out bad enough. It's the exhaust is coming right in and not safe for the driver. So this tank apparatus will get taken out and it'll be put in probably truck number 64, which I don't think is here right now. I think that's in Glidden. We'll move it out and this truck will go down the road. It'll just get sold at auction. Basically, it's not worth a lot more than scrap iron at this point. So what's it worth? You know, $1,000. I don't know. We'll probably get 5, maybe 6. Oh, yeah. Yep. But it's you'll take the tank off. Yeah, we'll take the tank off. The box will stay on, but the sprayer tank, everything will come back out.
Spray water.
This is what did you say, 1956?
No, this one's 66. No, this is from the. How many is that thing? 97, yeah. So yeah, come around the corner here, we have some big tanks. These are for making our salt brines for the winter time. The first tank was 5,000. That's just fresh water, clear water. So we have it stockpiled for making the brines. We're on a well here. We only get about 8 gallons a minute. So we have that stockpile. The other tanks are the salt brine that gets made, and then the third one is recycled water. So all these drains in here, they go out to a big holding tank that's just for the drain water. There's no toilet water, sewer water that goes in there. It's just drain. So we suck it back out and run it through a filter system, and we use it for our winter liquids on the road. We reuse it. A lot of it has quite a bit of salt already, and it's, you know, all the trucks come in and they drip off and get washed and whatever. So we're just reusing that water instead of we were paying number 2 septic to come and pump it. And thought, why can't we reuse it? We checked with the DNR and there's no restriction on reusing that water. So that's what we do. So the machine at the end, that's a salt brine maker. You dump salt in there, pump water through it, and it comes out as a salt brine at 23%, 23.3, I think is that goal to where we want it. Yeah. Could move on through here. Crack doing it. Do a lot of crack doings in the summer, clean up the whole router about, and then the cracks, put fresh material in them to seal them. So more water you keep from going into the road, the better off you are. It doesn't keep as much. So in the winter time, this stall here will have a loader parked in it, and then the other 4 have plow truck each ready to go out the door. You can back them in here, wash them, take care of them. They're ready to almost up and ready to roll. Yeah. We have 10 plow rounds. So 4 here, 3 at each end actually. This is the brine maker, salt brine maker. Put salt in up top and pump water through it, and salt brine. Basically spray it on our salt as it comes out of the truck and it activates it. We had usually a bank chloride mixture to it, who's making a little bit more powerful, help the freeze points. It's fun. I do watch that, you know. Tapping them, they're worse than dog. But yeah. So yeah, here's a few more of our trucks. There's some couple in the Ford section. 77 was that good or fair? I can't remember. That was so good. Yeah, it's a fairly newer truck. That one's still fun. Yeah, that one has all it's basically a dump truck with a insert in it for salt body. Move along out here. This building is heavy. All the heat you put in. Propane.
No, how much is this heated?
This is heated, yeah. We keep it at 55-ish. 55-ish, yeah. Yep. The hoop building is our salt sand. We primarily use salt sand on the county system in the winter. We only use salt if needed for bad, like a ice storm. But otherwise we use salt sand. The building next to it is liquids. We make the salt brine in here. We can pump it up there. We have multiple tanks in there. And then the trucks, they back up and they can load out of there while they're loading salt. This building here has salt in it. So yeah. What about that building? Salt. This is sand, salt sand, and that's straight salt. Yeah. Yep. So this truck here, 76, that is also a plow truck in the wintertime. Put a V-box on top of it and underbody underneath and a hitch out the front and it plows snow. Summertime, we take all that off, put a fifth wheel, we pull up my bottom trailer for gravel asphalt. So it's dual purpose, so we can use it year round, basically. That building that we looked at last time, is that just salt pit or what dome across the highway? That is, yeah, straight salt storage. Straight salt. Yeah. This is salt storage. Yes. Yep. So this one holds, I think, 800 tons. That one holds about 5,000. So well, when we order salt in the summertime, we should start getting it anytime. We haven't received any yet this year that I know of. We fill up we have a shed here, and then in Glidden, that one holds about 400. I think Ashland's about 500, 6 maybe. So we fill them first, and then the rest goes in the dome, and then we haul it out as needed in the wintertime. That goes to the town too. So the town buy very little salt from us, but we do supply them with a lot of sand, salt sand. Yeah. So that has 5% salt in it. So we mix up probably about 6,000 ton of that a year, 6,000 to 7,000, depending on what the towns need if they had any left over from the year before. Yeah. So they generally use that. There's the town of La Pointe will buy salt and they take it next to their own just to have sand on the island so they can put in all this. How is this well trucked in? Is it trucked in? It is trucked in from Superior to Leaf area. Yeah, comes on a boat to there. So,
How's your sand pit holding? You got a lot of sand left up there?
we do. We've in the last year we've stripped a bunch more open and yeah, it's 20 years probably still there. Yeah, quite a ways. Maybe more. I've never calculated it out total. And one thing I've been meaning to dig down deeper. I don't know. That was the floor level when I came, and I've never taken a machine to go to see if we keep going down or not. I don't know that it's down there. It probably not. It might, yeah. Well, it could be many, many years if it goes a lot deeper. Yeah. Yep. You see these windows up here? What are that for light or? Just for light inside, yeah. That's for light. It's not enough room for storage? No, we needed that rough ceiling room, but we put the windows in this for, yeah. That's been a lot of that. 68, that's another one on the, well, not roadworthy, the frame is bad, the box has holes in it that don't even hold material very well anymore, and dribble it down the road. It's just, it's time to be retired. So that's how basically, our fleet works. We buy a new one, put it in the plow trucks for 10 years, and then they'll go as a spare truck for 3 to 5 years, and then we repurpose it as a dump truck, and, a liquid truck. See a box on that truck up on the hill at the steamer, it's got water tanks and the pressure washer for the culverts, and then washing equipment outside of the top area. Put in a propane fill, so we can fill our compound tank. We use a lot of them for the packing, for cleaning out holes, and so we use a lot of them, especially in spring and fall, instead of running the town every time we need one. We can fill right out of this tank, so. Have our fueling station, we have gas and diesel. I think there's 5,000 pounds of diesel or gallons of diesel and
8,000 diesel, 2,000 gas.
They have one of those.
They do not. They, in the wintertime, they just have gas. And they use the local station for them trucks. Yep. So up top, you can see we have a kind of a sand pit. It's not really a sand pit, but we use it as for fill for jobs. We purchased that property in approximately, I think, 2015, because most of the hole that you see got dug out of there in the 2016 flood and filled in a lot of roads. So it's just expanding our yard. We have culvert storage up there. We got some equipment. Then this way we have that shed. What do you remember what year that was built in? That was probably in 16, or 15 maybe, 18. This was in 18, so I think them were there already. 17. So that's an open sided. In the summertime here, it has a lot of the plow equipment that comes off the trucks. In the wintertime, we try to get as much under cover as we can.
Is there a place that you have the old culverts and stuff, or if you pile them up in there?
We have another piece up by our sand pit, right up. We have sand pit up County C, just a half mile up here. We have sand pit on one end, and we have a piece of property on the other side that we have piles of gravel, material, type of blacktop.
Almost across from the recycling.
It's a little bit further,
Oh, okay.
right across from our sand pit there. But yeah, we have our old culverts. We'll kind of pile up there, and then depending on how scrap prices are, we'll have Ornstein or somebody come in and haul all that away when the prices get decent on scrap.
I see you got that bank slope nice over there.
Yeah, we worked on that a couple years ago. These were a lot steeper. We couldn't really mow them, so we laid them all back to make them so they'd be easier to deal with safer for mowing, and look a lot nicer. Yeah, there's a lot of water comes out of that hillside with that sand bank, so we put in a lot of French drains, underground drains to catch that water. Do
you have much problem with people breaking in?
Very little to none, really. I mean,
You see, you got fence on.
yeah, so when we had partial fenced before this addition in 2018, we used to get some guys spinning donuts out here and stuff at nights, but since we've had it fenced now, I don't know of any issues that we've had. Yeah, we do have a camera system. There's cameras looking out pretty much all angles.
Do they pay anything for that, or is they just all? Oh, we gotta pay to get it?
We gotta pay to get it. Yeah, 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 we gotta pay What did you think, Matt, what did you say that building was?
It's just a cold storage. It's open. It's not, it doesn't have a wall on the inside.
Okay.
So it's just to get it stuff under cover, keep it out of the weather, sun.
Like the plows and stuff, that's where you could put them.
Well, in the summertime, there's the boxes, all the V boxes and the underbodies and all the equipment we take off the trucks for summer off of our winter equipment are stored in there. Then in the winter time, they all go back on the trucks and a lot of the equipment, as much as the tractors, more tractors and track brooms and tractors, yeah, all that can go in there.
This is the part you were talking about building on.
This is where I
Yeah,
propose to put a addition on for, you know,
Highway committee meetings, our trainings, you know, and any other county. But yeah, basically you would just close in this corner of that roof line. Could just extend right over the top of it. We still have roughly a 10-foot wall on this side. Just be a nice size space for meeting, training. As you all know that our room we use for committee meetings is pretty tight. You get anybody here, it's pretty small, fast. So when we need to do training stuff, like I said, we could move in the back shop, but that works, but it's kind of big and it's hard to always hear great, you know, for the guys. So it's a little bit too bulky for that. So yeah, we have a shed, another cold storage shed down below there. That's just trucks. There's a lot of our hay and erosion material. It also has extra barrels and cones and big barricades for signing the roads. That's where most of that stuff is stored. We do have a little bit of a property going down toward the highway, and I know the county is going to be probably doing a space study needs. That my thought is if there's ever a need for a county building there for more space for the sheriff's department, I know they need more space for evidence rooms and car storage, and you know, you could put land conservation here. Different, you know, there's pretty good sized space there for a county building if ever felt there was a need. I guess that's all I had for my tour. Does anybody have any more questions or anything you want to see?
I have a question. Sure. How much do you think this addition would cost? Have you got any prices or?
You know, I did about 4 or 5 years ago now, and it was about 300,000. So I don't know. You might have a better idea than me. 400 maybe now. I don't know. It would be more than the 300 number, but
Depending how far along. A big room.
yeah, big room. Yep. Pretty basic. Yeah. Yeah. We probably have a hallway along that wall just for access through and then access in here. But yeah, it's pretty much open. It's obviously including cooling is probably tied in. Actually, there's a heating cooling system in the office unit there, and then another one here for the break room and these couple. There's a locker room in there also behind it. But I think that system could be tied in to cover this whole addition portion also.
Well casing.
That is our well. So that is the one that would have to be moved. We'd have to get a new well.
You know, we had talked about the post office coming down there.
Mhm.
Would they have to drill a new well or would they use ours?
I think we haven't talked specifically on it, but my thought was to tie into our water system to feed them. In that lease agreement, if I remember right, we would provide power, water, and sewer at the site. They would be responsible for their power bill, or, you know, if there was they needed their sewer pump, I believe, but it would be our responsibility to have it at the property line there for them, so. We'd have to put power in there. We'd have to get a perk test, get some tanks, whether it's just a holding tank or a system. And then I would provide water from our facility here to them.
Is water hard to get in this area?
You know, not too bad. Okay. I think this is about 60 deep. It's actually overflowing. We have a sealed well cap under that holds it in and put a air bubble in there so it doesn't freeze up. But if you took the cap off after a little while, it would be coming over the top.
Springs all over about mile.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of water moving through the ground in this area.
Oh, where's that post office? Where's that negotiation at?
I submitted some papers to Dan here maybe month and a half ago. Just on, is there any hazardous materials? He had a draft lease agreement. I haven't seen it or heard since that point, so I'm not sure exactly where we're at, but it looks like to be moving forward. Yeah.
I guess the post office is pretty cool.
Probably. Yeah.
So that would have to go to the committee first, and then I guess we approve the initiation.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of approved it earlier on to work with them, so.
Then it would have to go to the county board.
I don't know if Dan would sign off on that, or if it would have to go to one of the other committees, or where that would final approval would be. Yeah, we're on board with putting the post office there. I think it'd be great for the community to have a post office. So
Good idea.
yeah,
That's convenient.
it is. It would work well.
Where's the mail coming from now?
Grandview. We do have the post office boxes are on a little stand down there. I don't know if you noticed by the driveway. They allowed them to set them there temporary. But yeah, the mail is all out of Grandview at this time since February, I think is when they changed.
You know, it's a little bit of, with a little bit of activity in the post office, I would think it would be much more than the tanks, you know, holding. tanks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it might be easy to put in a conventional system if it's sandy enough that I don't know that, you know, I've never dug down at that point. But if it's like up here, probably might be easy to just put in a conventional system.
In my truck, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, our system is just on this side of that building. Them rocks are up there are so people can't drive big vehicles on it. That's we have holding tanks in the front of the parking lot, and it pumps it up to there.
How often do they get pumped?
We pump it once a year. Any other questions?
Back when muted and everything, ready to go on this end?
Wait, okay.
Perfect.
Thank you. Coffee time, I'm good. We're ready to start again?
We're ready.
Okay. I guess, does anybody have any questions for Matt? As far as what we've seen? If not, we'll move on to the commissioners' reports.
All right. Employees. So if you remember, we had one resign back in April. We've been looking since then. We did hire Josh Potman. He will start September 3rd. Looks like he's gonna be I was very happy. We actually had two good applicants there. We come in July, so moved through that process and yeah, selected Josh. So I don't know if anybody knows who he is. He lives in Ashland. But yeah, he will be working out of the Ashland shop, so we're excited to have him on board. Any questions on employees, I guess?
So we're all filled now?
Yeah, we'll be at 100% with him. Yes. Work schedule. So we've been doing a lot of crack sealing. We've been doing some of the county roads. Some on 112. We did a portion of 77. Probably not gonna get everything done we had hoped this year, but we're gonna keep working at it as much as we can. June was a bad month for crack sealing. If you remember, it rained and rained and rained and that really slowed us down on that end, but we'll try to get whatever we can done with that. Back and toward the end of June, you remember Bayfield County had a pretty good sized flush. We worked up there for about a week with them, hauling some gravel. We changed out a big culvert, washed out culvert on Highway 13, just a little east of Cornucopia. Worked, had a crew there right from Thursday or Friday to right through the weekend to Monday to get that open back up. So they were very appreciative. They said to make sure everybody knows they appreciate it and said thank you for the help with that.
How many people did that involve?
We probably had 5 or 6 at times, yeah. Madeline Island at the same time did have some flooding. One day we were able to shape back that. We didn't lose any lanes. We lost some shoulders from the shoulder out. There were some decent sized washouts, but I think the biggest one took about 6 loads of material to get it fixed back up. So nothing real major, but
Where do you get the material from? They have a pit over there?
there's a sand pit there. They have a big pile of dirt, clay material kind of by their waste management, the waste station that they let us use whenever we need that type of material. We do have a gravel pile over there also. Left over from, well, that construction project back in 09, I think, so. We do have some gravel left over there, so we use that. Then if we would need, county owns a sand pit over there also, so. So yeah, I was happy. We were pretty minor, just one day's work with, I think, four or 5 guys, and we had everything there fixed back up. We are started on the Hudson Bay Dam Road. You remember the county had to take over, or I don't know if take over, if we've always owned it, whatever the argument was. So we need to build an access road into that, so Thursday they started cutting some trees and they're there again today to get that access road built into that dam so we can start doing the required DNR maintenance. We've been behind for some years on that maintenance, so it's nothing major that needs to be done. The first thing we'll do is get our truck with the pressure washer out there and pressure wash all the green off of it. I don't know, it's not, I guess, like mossy material. It's got growing over a lot of it, so you cannot really see the concrete structure. I know there's some minor crack repair that'll need to be done, and I think that once it gets all cleaned up, it'll need another inspection to see what needs it has, but first is to get the road in.
Isn't the top part all wood? Like the-
It just has a wood in the center of it for the gate, you know, that you can adjust the
Would that
gate.
have to be replaced
I
or?
think it will at some point. So yeah, at that point, we'll be able to get our like our sign truck in there to use it to,
So the county will be doing the work.
yeah. Yeah, I think we'll,
Hopefully that will put an end to that matter for a while.
so my understanding is all the work that we've done, you know, obviously we'll keep track of it. It'll be billed, I think, to the county general fund. But that money will be recuperated through a tax district for them lake homes, lake properties.
Oh, they
Yeah.
will create a taxing jurisdiction.
That's my understanding. They're supposed to do that to tax them for all that cost, so.
Matt,
Yes,
it'll be a special assessment.
okay. So yeah. we're-
Will that special assessment be based on valuation?
No, everybody will be billed equally. It'll be all the properties adjoining the lake there.
Spider and Makwa.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
and the residents there understand that and know that.
We've been doing a lot of mowing, patching. We did some ditching on GG. So we have that paving project coming there yet this year, so we fixed up a few spots that were holding water, did some ditching. Last week we did a scrub seal project on State Highway 77. I think it was about 4 miles worth for the DOT. That's a DOT project, extra project. We do have 2 culverts upcoming that are failing on Highway 112 that we will be replacing for DOT. The culverts are ordered, should be here the next couple weeks, I think. So 112 will be shut down for at least a day for each pipe during that process. That's a basic work schedule. Obviously, if you see the board behind me, there's a lot of things I didn't mention, just smaller projects, but for now, you know, we'll be working on the crack sealing and fitting other things in as we can. Anybody have any questions on the work schedule? Not, I'll move into construction. You might have noticed there's a state has a construction project on 137. They did, I think, 4 or 5 culverts, and then it's getting resurfaced from Ashland and Bayfield County, so. It looked like they were paving last week when I went by there, so I don't know where they're at exactly, but looks like it's coming along. County Highway GG, our county paving project. Northwoods Paving will be doing that. They said they're gonna start either August 26th or September 3rd, depending how their other jobs shake out, but it should be coming soon. But we also have a large culvert on County C that's failing. I believe we'll be starting that August 26th at County C. The old Midway Road section will be closed at that culvert for most of the week, I suppose, to change that culvert. So it's a very deep. It's 160 feet of culvert going back in there. So yeah, we'll have that road closed for a short time. Just to update, County Highway H, the FEMA grant we had applied for a couple years ago for more riprap and to fix up some of the current riprap along there, some sections. Was finally fully approved, so we will be moving forward with that. Hopefully, plan is for 2025 construction. So it's 900,000 of federal dollars coming toward that with the 25% match of county dollars also. So
That's on Madeline Island.
yeah, yep. Another update, Ensinger Road in the town of Marengo, right out of Marengo, there's an old bridge that's been closed for many years. It's kind of a strange deal there. The county kind of agreed years ago to take take over that bridge, and we have a recreational bridge over the top of it. So last year when the DOT came out with 100% bridge funding for towns, I approached the town of White River to see if they would want to basically take the bridge back and apply for a new one. And they agreed to that, so we applied. So we recently received notice that that bridge is 100% funded. We'll be starting the process.
Is that the one in behind the fairgrounds?
Yes, yep.
Doesn't really go to any place.
I mean, there's a way around it,
Yeah,
you know, but it would serve 4 or 5 houses back there. Would use it. They have been using the recreational bridge as a car bridge forever. DOT was very upset recently. They're looking at the site and UPS truck crossed the recreational bridge. So we're going to put some concrete barriers to make it a little narrower to try to sway some users of that.
they're gonna replace the whole bridge. It'll be a 2-lane bridge.
Yeah, yep,
So,
it'll be a nice bridge. My thought is as it stood, the county kind of, is a little bit unknown. County kind of took responsibility for that bridge. So, I mean, it's gonna fall in before too many more years. And it would have been our responsibility, I think, to remove it. So my thought was if we can get state funding 100%, it doesn't cost the town anything, it doesn't cost the county anything. Let's get that bridge replaced, so that's what's hopefully, as long as the estimates were good and the costs come in under the amount of funding available, it should be good on that, so yeah, that was good. Just to touch, we talked a little bit outside about the post office, but I thought I'd touch again. You know, I believe it's still moving forward. We provided some information. Dan had a draft lease agreement. Hopefully that moves forward before too long and we can get the site work done here before winter time rolls in. So any questions on my report? There's no question, that's all what I have.
I guess we're moving on then. Is there any issues found during the facilities and equipment inspection that we need to address?
I just wanted to have an agenda item, if there's anything you guys seen during our little tour that if you wanted to talk about in an open meeting.
Well, are you gonna, you say you're getting rid of them 4 trucks, then the plan is to replace
So-
next year, 25 budget? or-
There's them 2 trucks that are not roadworthy.
Yeah,
So I did hand out this with your, before the meeting. So the second page has a list of all of our trucks. And then the condition rating. So the 2 at the bottom, 58 and 56. Will be taken out of service, or they're already out of service. 56 is that tanker. So we'll be taking number 64, one of our spare plow trucks. And put in that tank in that truck. So that will no longer be a spare. And then 58 will just be removed. You know, we have other dump trucks. So basically. We generally have been getting a plow truck, a new truck every year. So it starts up at the top in the good, it goes 10 years in the fleet as a plow truck. Then it'll go some years as a spare plow truck, and it's also repurposed for other things. If you look at some of these they're dump trucks in the summer, spare plows in the winter.
In the pictures. In the pictures. Oh, it's in the picture.
Second page of the pictures there. Yeah. So yeah, it's just, you know, they moved through the system, you know, these 58 and 56 at some point back in 97 and 99, they were plow trucks also. You might notice, you know, we got from 2015 to a pretty good sized gap there to 04. I think some of them years, we may not have bought a truck per se, and then. We got into them years of, well. They started coming out with the emissions changes, more emissions. There was a lot of problems with them trucks. We put a lot of dollars into them. I mean, you'd need new emission systems, $20,000. $15,000 repairs. So we sold all them trucks. These trucks that we kept, you know. They didn't look so great maybe, but they started when you needed them and they went down the road. But, you know, now they're starting to get old and the frames are starting to get suspect and, you know, they start rusting away to a point where then they get cracks in them and then they do not meet DOT spec for a safe truck to be on the road. So
I see we've been buying a truck every year since 2015,
yes,
and at least one.
yeah, and even before that, we sold the 14, 13, 12, 10s, you know, them have all been. We got rid of them because the maintenance costs were so high on the emissions systems. So yeah, I know finance committee has had some questions on. Why we need a new truck, you know, why you need one every year. So this is one thing I put together to send to them so they could see the progression of the trucks to what happens with our fleet.
Yeah, have you discussed this with Dan or no?
So I sent this to him last week.
Okay.
We haven't discussed it, but at the last finance committee meeting, it was discussed. I was not able to attend. My daughter was getting married that weekend and we had some company in town and we were getting ready for that. So Bob Piff, the shop superintendent, did attend the finance committee meeting and explained a lot of this at that time also. So it's just an ongoing, I believe there's a committee meeting Wednesday. I don't know if they're gonna talk about this or not. I thought they probably were going to, but I didn't know if I really seen it in their agenda, so.
I think it's a good idea, to do that pattern of one new truck a year, because once you stop that, you know, then you have a gap that you can't make up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a gap, there's not gonna be a year where we can afford to buy two trucks. Yeah, and we have a couple of years in here to make up for some of them. Cause there was some years earlier, I think in the, you know, the 08, 09 era, I don't know that there was any trucks. And so 2 different years, I think we bought 2 trucks to catch back up, but. I believe this works best if you do one a year and it just keeps on working very nicely to the progression, the trucks through.
I have a question. On this 2023 revenue, where does that come from?
So that's the revenue, all the revenue we bill out, we bill, whether it's used on the state highway, the county highway, for township, any work that they do, it's billed at an hourly rate. So that's the revenue that comes in.
That's paid by the state.
So them trucks, generally, most of that revenue would be from the state. We start our trucks, as a new truck, they go on a state plow route. So that first 5 years, they're on a state plow route. So most of that revenue comes from the state. There's a little bit, because we multi-purpose them, so we use them in the summer. So some of it will be state work, some of it will be county work, some town work. So there will be other revenues in there also, but the bulk of that revenue comes from the DOT through the plowing for the first 5 years. After that, it moves into a county. If you look, I have the plow routes down the sides, so you can kind of see they're in the state system for the first, and then they move into the county system after that. So that them years, that would be mostly county revenue, except during the summer months when it could bring in revenue from.
And the lower column there, where is that income coming from, revenue?
Which.
The bottom where it doesn't have anything listed.
So that's just wherever we use them. I mean, they get used on the state, county, and any other work that we do.
Okay.
And, you know, it's. Say the number 56, the one on the bottom, actually has a pretty good revenue for that old truck. That has that tank in there. So when we looked out there, we use that to do a lot of spraying, anti-ice, and we spray the bridge decks, we spray the corners, hills. So that gets used a lot, and generally that's DOT income. I mean, we do a little on the county system too, but most of that income would be from DOT. Some of these other ones, they're dump trucks. We use them in the summer. We have done a lot of projects over the years, rep projects for DOT. You know, we've done a lot of work on the Bayfront up there. But also county work, you know, when we're doing culverts and hauling for the county system, we're using these trucks also, so. It's just a mixed bag.
The revenue then is determined by time reports? Is that
Yes.
Basically the
Yep.
starting point?
It's all, everything we do is time and material, time, equipment and material hours. The guys fill out a time card every day. It has their hours, their labor hours, how many hours on each piece of equipment that they used. And then any material that they used, that bills out to whoever we are working for.
If we got a new tanker truck, liquid de-icing thing, we're not gonna be taking any more revenue in. Because right now
No.
it's still being used.
Yeah, that revenue won't change. The 56 revenue basically will move up 64 up the list, will be repurposed to that tanker truck. You know, 64 and 23 had very little revenue, but that will move that one back into productive. Basically 64 has been used as a dump truck a little bit or a spare plow truck. So that one will be our tanker truck for the next.
Okay, so you'll just turn that one into a tanker truck.
Yeah, that'll last for probably 4 years and then the frame will be shot on that one and we'll move
Okay.
it to something else. But
So I was thinking that if you got a new tanker truck, you know, it's gonna be a brand new one, but
No.
no, you move
No.
one down.
Yep,
Okay,
yep. So this year, 64 will become our tanker truck in place of 56, and then 73 will come off. It had a plow route last year. It will not this year. That will be basically a spare truck in place of 64.
so when we sell these two old ones, what happens to the revenue? when
Just
we-
goes into our
Non-lapsing fund?
Yeah, yep. And at times in the past, I've asked for, permission to use that for other equipment or other things we need.
Does that go on the Wisconsin surplus?
Yeah.
You're selling through, okay.
Had pretty good luck with that.
We've had very good luck with it. I mean. They started using that about the time I came on, but. At that time, they were getting peanuts for the equipment and they started using that and, it's a statewide or even all that. We saw a lot in Chicago, folks come up and pick stuff up. And. It's a lot better money that way. Yeah, well worth it.
Chicago money is good money.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Any other issues you want to talk about from our inspection?
I just would like to mention that facilities that we looked at are really clean and look like they're well organized. And, it looks like everything's being used. And I just thought I'd mention that. I didn't see a bunch of junk laying around and just a plain mess, I think they're being maintained.
Yeah.
And
And then the safety angle too.
yeah.
On that,
Right, that's good point. Does anybody have any questions about the equipment or the facilities? And I guess we'll move on to GG, the canoe, lake, Clam Lake canoe site.
So if you remember at our highway tour in June, we stopped at that site. So we have a request from the that dam, I'm trying to think of their name. They not a Lake Dam, but it's, anyway, they have that association that cares for that dam right in Clam Lake. They would like to put in that canoe landing there. It would be parking would be in our highway right away, but then the county also owns a small strip of land going down to the water. So my thought is it needs to start with this committee. approval or disapproval to move forward, and then it would need to go on to probably the forestry and rec committee, and then maybe to the land committee for final approval for use of that county land.
would would we be dating it and would it go to the full county board?
That I do not know.
I guess I'd personally like to see the county board okay this and
Okay.
let them know that we're doing something, you know, and get their permission.
Sure.
And I guess the only thing is, are we gonna be held responsible for any expense?
So the cost of the parking area and whatever trail they would like, that association would take on that cost. There will not be any cost to the county other than, you know, I don't know if there would be any liability, you know, insurance liability or not through forestry and rec. If that's above me, I have no idea. The liability issue of it, how that would work, because it would be county property.
Well, I think that it was a good thing to see. Jim did not see it,
No,
but at least we know what we were talking about and where we were sticking it, you know. Does anybody want to make a motion that we advance this on to the next committee?
I'll make that motion.
Now, what's the motion going to say, provided that we're not responsible for any expenses?
Are we sure we wanna advance it to the rec committee, or do we just wanna approve it?
We'll approve it and maybe advance it to the rec committee.
I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, that we're in favor of it,
Yeah, that's what my point, yeah.
but I don't think it needs to go to the land. I don't think it needs to go to their land and the zoning. I
Yeah,
think if it went to me, I think if it went to the rec committee and then with the recommendation that it goes to the full county
Yeah.
board.
That makes sense.
Does-
I agree, yes.
Tom, you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine with me, if Dan is fine with that, or if he has any thoughts on how he thinks the process should work.
I would think too that the insurance impact would be pretty minimal, the cost, you know.
Sure.
Well, especially if we gave it. Yeah, our interest completely to the association or whatever. You know, the Clam Lake or whatever dam site or whatever. Does anybody
Matt-
got any questions about?
Yeah, Dan.
So it should probably go to PPLE. Because we're talking about public property.
Okay, does it need to go to rec or not? Because I mean, it's a recreational site.
It could. You could add that step in if you want.
Yeah.
But PPLE should definitely have a look at it.
So the motion is to advance it to the next committee.
Yeah.
Needed to.
And just maybe put in there that we're not gonna be responsible for any expenses. So, you know, just so it's clarified that we're not gonna be paying anything.
Right.
We got a motion by Tom, seconded by Marty. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Now I guess Matt's gonna talk about the 2025
Yeah.
highway budget.
So we do not have our budget completed yet. We're still need more information. It's gonna be fairly similar to last year. I don't anticipate a lot of big changes. But I thought it would be a good opportunity to run through it and explain to the committee, especially we have 3 people on here that are new to our committee. Of what our budget consists of, I guess, so. They give a handout, each of you, so with this rundown, the first one is the local road improvement. Admin, so there is nothing in that changed, if you remember, we used to get like $3,000 or $4,000 a year to help with the LRIP program, but that's being done by the town association now as a pilot program. I don't know if that's gonna stay that way or change. I think that'll be discussed yet later this year. The next revenue is non-metallic mining revenue. So that's 14,000. I oversee the non-metallic reclamation permits. So every year, all the basically the sand and gravel pits in the county have to renew their permit for, and it's a reclamation permit. So them fees total $14,000.
What happens if they don't pay?
Um,
Or do we have any problems with that?
not really, no. I mean, we've had some that are late and we had one that didn't pay for a year or so, but they've been caught up. So at that point, we would not issue a permit. And then so the whole reclamation thing is they have to put up money, whether it's a bond, a letter of credit, a bank account that's names the county. So if they do not pay that, we can start to process that. We are responsible for making sure that property is reclaimed to the plan that was laid out when they applied for it. So we would take that money that's put aside and the county would reclaim that property to get it out of the program. State highway DMA revenues. That's kind of a placeholder number. That number goes up and down. Some years we get a lot of money.
Way over.
Yeah, this year we just did a $200,000 project for the DOT, but we have no idea for next year usually till about March of next year. So, but that money is generally in and out anyway. I mean, it's kind of, it comes in as revenue and it goes out as expense, whether it's wages, equipment, material. A lot of, like I say, we did that scrub seal, $200,000. Probably 150 of that is materials between the oil and the rock that goes on that. So, it's not like the county is. So that's just kind of a placeholder. The state RMA revenue. So that is our routine maintenance agreement. We sign a agreement with the state every year to maintain the state highways. This is just a portion of it. Our agreement is just over $1 million total. So this is the regular road maintenance portion of it. The next line out down the state highway winter revenue is out of that same $1 million, the $425,000. The LFA revenue, 100,000. That's kind of a placeholder. Also, that's extra projects that DOT gives us. We usually get something every year. We don't know, like Highway 112 just popped up. There are 2 culverts this summer that are failing. We have contracts with them for what are they, 90,000 of these to replace them culverts. So same as the DMA. It's a in and out thing, but we always put something in our budget for it. PBM revenue, that was something the state tried for a while. They've generally moved that out into the DMA or the LFA, so it's not used. The last 2 years it hasn't been used. RMA supervision, that's a portion of the RMA that goes for our patrol superintendent. It pays 60% of all his expenses. State reimbursements, I remember on this one, it's for our buildings, our salt storage buildings. We get money from the state for our facilities, because we're using them to house our trucks and our equipment that takes care of their highways. So it's just reimbursement that comes back on that. State damage claims, that's mainly signs and guardrails that get damaged every year. They pay us to maintain them. Records and reports, that would be our admin fees for everything we do. Bill to the state gets a 4% approximately admin fee. So yeah.
What happened between 2023 and 2024 on that item? Went from 182 to 51.
So that's a placeholder also, because when we have these $200,000 jobs, 300,000, we still get 4% on that. So we don't know. We know we're gonna get 4% on that $1 million, but we don't know if there's gonna be extra projects for sure or not. So yeah, it's generally higher than that because when we do extra work, we get more reimbursements on that, so. DNR revenues, that's for projects we do with the DNR. They have us do some culvert work at times, different. We've been doing some of the work for the National Forest, but it's paid through the Good Neighbor Authority, which is the DNR, so. And then the next one is the record reports, that's the admin fees on that. Local government revenues, that's work we do for the townships, city, villages. You know, generally every year, we do some culvert work or track sealing work for the towns. City of Ashland's been having us do about $40,000 a year worth of track sealing on their city streets. So that's money that comes in there. The next one down is the admin fees on that. Other county department revenues, you know, we go up and do work at the courthouse. We've done things over the years. We moved a lot of their records downstairs when they were getting ready for this project. We do a lot of work for Health and Human Services. We, when they were doing their moves to that 514 building and back and forth, and we send our guys to do a lot of that physical labor for them. So we do some work for forestry at times. We'll do culverts for them. So that's where that is. County road and bridges maintenance. So that's our county system. So the highway department runs off of two funds. This one that we're looking at is Fund 71. The other page has a Fund 21. So basically the money goes into 21, and that's our we call it like an enterprise fund or revolving. So we bill ourselves for all the work done on the county system. So that's where that goes. That comes out of Fund 21. The next line, county road, bridges and improvement projects. So that's any of our paving projects. So that number is a bit bigger for next year. I mean, you'll see in 24, we were at 1.4 million. In 25, we have the Madeline Island project. So there's $900,000 worth of federal money in there. There's some LRIP dollars for GG. So that's why that number is a lot bigger for next year, is because of grant funding for projects. There again, we get a admin fee on that. Sale of salvage materials, we basically put 5,000 in there every year, just for, you know, getting rid of some of our culverts and some of the excess materials that we have, or used materials. And miscellaneous revenue, I think most of that is we sell salt sand to the BIA. That's where that goes in.
So we're selling it at a profit or just the same amount?
We sell it the same as we sell it to the towns or anybody else. It's just, it's cost. It's everything is figured in it gets put in kind of a pool, you know, our material cost and our labor cost to make salt sand. Any costs we have go into that, and it comes up with a number of the cost per ton. So that's how we sell that to, whether it's the state, the town, the tribe, whoever wants to buy that. So any questions on revenues?
Where does it show when you sell them old trucks?
So that would probably would go into the Fund 21 into our budget. So there's not really a line for it.
Yeah.
That fund revolves, and it can build, and we take money out of it, which we're gonna take a pretty good chunk out of it next year. Possibly that's our proposal to with the projects we have planned. we're gonna need a pretty good chunk out of that, 500,000 approximately, so. So that money just kind of, it builds.
Goes in there.
Yeah.
It's in a non-lapsing fund.
Yeah,
Do we have a total of what that value is now?
I don't know if I can have it with in here, but it's over 1 million. I don't remember exactly. It might be 1.2, somewhere in that range.
And that's just in what, some type of savings account or money market or?
You know, I don't even know that. It's, you know, Tracy, the treasurer's office takes care of all the accounts and I don't know where they're kept at.
You got any idea, Dan? It's not.
Listening exactly, so. Any other questions on revenues? Not, I can move into expenses. So, administration, you know, that's my cost, Marcy's costs, our office costs. Our admin costs. You know, a lot of that gets paid for from that 4%, you see in the revenue columns, we have the record and reports dollars, so that all moves into our administration. Patrol superintendent cost expenses of 129,566, that's our Bruce, our patrol superintendent. Radio expenses 7,000, that's for our handheld radios or radio system. Insurance expense. So a lot of these, no, that don't have a number. They get rolled. Basically at the end of the year, they get rolled into all these other categories, so. Then they're there, but they. Expenses,
zeroed out.
yeah, expenses go toward them and then at the end of the year, they zero back into the big numbers. Machinery operations expense, 160,000. Move down to county highway expenses, 734,850. Then our construction projects, our big projects, 22,696,854. The county highway winter expense, 365,998. Then there's the state highway winter, about 425. The road and bridge or the maintenance expenses of 556,460. Road and bridge construction of 100,000. The highway expenses 10,000. The township expenses of 150, county. So you see a lot of these, they match up with it comes in, it goes out, then the numbers match and revenue and expense, so. So yeah, like I say, these numbers are preliminary yet. I think they're close, but Dan has not gotten this yet because we haven't finished it yet, so. I wouldn't want to say that these are our final numbers in any way because they're not.
Where are employee payroll expenses listed?
So they would come out of all that, the county expenses, the county winter expenses, the state highway expenses, that all the labor rates would roll into them. They don't necessarily, we don't have them broke out as just payroll because it all ties back to whatever it gets billed toward.
Okay,
So how does this compare to last year's budget? Is it?
So if you see, we have 25 and we have the 24 budget right next to it. So it's basically mirroring that, except for the county road and bridge improvements are a lot higher because we have more grant dollars for next year.
It says, if you look at the revenue versus the expenses, the revenues are up and the expenses are down. If you look 24, 25.
Yeah. So you see that.
What does it really
excess.
mean?
So
How
I mean,
how much more do we need to raise?
Well, we're basically in 24, we're that 278 short, which that would come out of our Fund 21 rollover account. If that makes sense, I guess.
No,
So we have money in that account, right? That
non-lapsing fund.
non-lapsing fund, so that would come out of that fund.
Okay.
Yeah,
So this would have, when this is approved, but it's not gonna be approved today because you don't have it complete,
no,
then it would go to the finance
Yes.
committee, and then from the finance committee, it would go to the full county board.
correct, yes.
So we don't have to, we're just going through this, but we don't have to make a motion.
Yeah, we don't have to, I just wanted to take the opportunity to explain each of the lines and answer questions. You know, especially with the 3 new members on the committee, just so they have an idea. If you look at that second page, so that's our highway 21 fund, revenue fund. So this is basically simpler version. I mean, this is our enterprise, our rollover fund. So our county levy requests will probably be 500,000. Last year we received 475. It's a $25,000 increase for the wage increase, basically. The 3% or 2.5% step that's being proposed. Right now we have our transportation aids in there the exact same. Them could go up or down. We don't know that yet. We haven't seen that number yet. Last in 24, we had 1,116,918 in our debt levy budget, and we're asking for 1 million this year. Our LRIP in 24, it was 347, in 25, it's gonna be 235, 588. Then the federal aid. Yes,
Those last two, the LRIP and federal, those are one-time
yes.
things, so they.
Well, the federal aid is a one-time thing.
Okay.
The LRIP gets renewed every 2 years, so this year we will reapply again this fall and probably won't go until next year. But them dollars would be in 26 and 27 then.
Did we not get any federal aid this year?
We did not this year. Nope. We have our paving project this year is 1.4 and it came in, well, about 100 less than that at 1.3. So that is being the $1 million debt levy that we usually get for our road projects. Plus the 347,000 of LRIP dollars, state dollars will pay for that project. So we did not have any federal aid projects.
So why are we getting federal aid next year?
So that's 900,000 will be for Madeline Island for County H for that riprap project.
Okay,
And then the following year in 26, we'll have a big federal aid year because we've got 2.2 million or whatever for County GG for paving. So that number, it just varies from year to year depending on what funding is out there and what we receive.
Say, Matt,
Yes.
when I attended that February meeting here, they had a couple of 2 or 3 DOT guys here, and they said there's gonna be a substantial decrease in federal funding with no reason or no
Yeah.
explanation there. Do you remember what that dollar figure was, or is that anything to?
That's totally what they were talking about was the state highways. So that doesn't come into our budget at all. The DOT pays for, Highway 13 to get fixed, replaced, whatever it needs done, work needs done. So what they're saying is the federal funding to the state level for the state highways is decreasing.
The future projects?
So the future projects
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
less.
Okay,
That's a concern because, as we looked in that tour, Highway 2, excuse me, from Ashland out to Government Road or Bad River, pretty rough.
yeah.
They don't have it till like 2030 or 31. Which Dan has asked me to ask about moving that forward, and I know the tribe is also putting pressure on DOT to bring that sooner. But that all ties into
Yeah,
their funding issues they're having at the state level. But that doesn't affect what we're doing on our end, yeah,
right,
so,
okay.
yep. Any other questions on revenues in this one? Otherwise, I can move to the expenses, I guess. So we have our county highway maintenance, 734,850. Them numbers will tie back to what we bill over on the other page. County highways winter maintenance, 365,998. Patrol soup revenue, that would be, we don't have anything in there. I guess I don't know why.
We
24.
changed how we're doing it.
How it looks, yeah. And then county highway restructuring and resurfacing that 2,696,854. So there again, so next year we're anticipating hitting our fund pretty heavy, our improvement fund, our rollover fund. So,
If you have a mild winter, the county doesn't make as much money. So if you have a bad winter, are we better off with a bad winter? Or as far as the highway taking in money?
yes, we are.
So
So we have a contract for $1 million, basically, for an easy number, it's like 1,019,000 or something. With the DOT to do maintenance on their roads. So that runs from January 1 to December 31, that contract. So say a winter like 23. Was a bad winter, you know, we came out in the spring, we kind of have a spreadsheet with them that we should spend X amount of dollars on certain things. We were way over on our winter maintenance. So in the summertime, they basically say, we don't want anything done on our roads.
because you only got X amount of
We
dollars.
only have $1 million.
So this last winter, 24, we didn't spend as
We didn't
much.
spend as much.
So we got more money for the summer project.
Yeah, we'll do more shoulder maintenance, in which we have been, take care of the bridges better, we do more shoulder maintenance, we do more crack sealing, we spend it in the summer instead of the winter months. So we still get our $1 million, we do everything we can to make sure we spend $1 million on the state. But I will say on a bad winter like that 23 winter. We can spend $1 million, 1 or 2. And they don't kick too much, so we can get a little excess revenue. But, yeah, they try to minimize it, but they will let you go over in them years a little bit. Where if it's a normal winter, they're working to keep you at that $1 million as close as they can, so yeah.
This is another odd question. Now I see the shoulders were cut the first time. Are they going to be cut again?
We generally just do it one time.
Okay.
Oh, you mean the mowing?
The mowing,
Okay, I was.
yeah, cut.
That generally on the state highways, they only allow one mowing. We can go back and do some safety mowing at intersections and if needed, if there's some vision problems. But their manual basically has a one mowing 15 feet of the ditch bottom is their policy.
You know what's really nice about that, my old phone, is when they come and they turn in your driveway and they mow like over the culverts. That's really nice because it's almost impossible to
See,
see.
Yeah, yep. So yeah. Yeah, some of the county roads, we might do another mowing if needed in spots, just because we have control over that more. So any questions, I guess, that's just a little explanation on the budget, how our budget works and where things go, come and go.
you want to move on to future agenda items? If somebody would like to see on the agenda,
So we should probably, I don't remember the exact dates on the budget stuff, but we should probably have our, what is it, September 9th meeting to do a final approval on our budget for finance.
that'd be the second Monday in September.
Correct.
That okay with everybody that they don't have any conflicts?
September 9th, you said? Well, I happen to be free as a bird that day.
Yeah,
Is there any items that need to be brought up?
You know, I didn't make the last county board meeting, but do they put, is Dan been putting that change of personnel changes, adding that on the information he put there?
I believe so, right?
Sometimes he does that in his,
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it was the last page or. Is there anything?
It's nice to keep track of who's who, you know.
Yes. I've been away from the courthouse 6 or 7 years and I go there, I don't even know half the people because they're.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you think that we need to bring up besides the budget? I think it was very helpful. I've been on the highway committee 4 or 5 years. And I've never seen the buildings and what they were for and. You know, I don't know if you previously had done this 4, 5, 6 years ago, but I think that was very helpful.
yeah,
And I'd like some comments on what they thought of the highway tour. You know, Tom, you're new here.
I thought that was great. I mean, cause I was interested in them frost tubes.
oh, we
Then-
didn't, sorry, we didn't touch on that, we have one out in the yard
Yeah.
here, but,
No, but I mean, we showed, you showed us
Plan
them
Lake,
on
by
the
Plan Lake.
tour there.
oh yeah, on the tour, yeah,
Yeah.
we did, yeah. Yep,
Marty, what do you think?
Yeah, that frost tubes, I saw that before, I had no idea how that worked.
No, I didn't either. I thought it worked different than what it really does.
sure, Yeah.
I thought it was good that we had a couple of representatives there, Chance and the other guy was. I don't
Yeah,
remember his name.
it was good to
Quinn, wasn't it?
show them the,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Rice Lake or Cameron.
so. Is there anything else we need to discuss or? Then I think we should probably adjourn unless there's something that somebody wants to add.
yeah, and you know, as far as future agenda items, if something comes up before the next meeting, you know, you can always just let me know and. I can put it on the agenda, I always have Dan and Bill approve the agenda before it goes out, so.
Yeah, I guess I never was the chairman before, so I I'm just looking at it and say, oh geez. I should respond.
Yeah. Yep, I send it to them,
Hey, Matt,
yes,
hey, just to let you know, the video worked really well.
oh, good,
Yeah, on the tour, you could
Okay.
see everything, so,
good, well, thank Marcy, she was our videographer.
great, thank you.
Yeah, I guess if there's nothing else, we'll make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Marty made a motion.
Second.
Seconded by Jim. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
I.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried.